If you're watching this video, chances are that you've seen the following ad on YouTube at some point.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
The Here in My Garage ad by Tai Lopez has achieved meme status on YouTube with over $1 million spent to get it in front of your eyeballs. And whether you think Tai Lopez is awesome or not, one thing is definitely true. You've probably never seen a YouTube ad more times or seen an ad that has generated more discussion, parody videos, and interest than Here in My Garage. And that all implies something else. The ad must be working, meaning that Tai Lopez is making more than $1 million worth of sales, otherwise the money would just run out. Which means that, like it or not, something special is going on in these 4 minutes. That's why I want to break down this video to understand what is going on from a psychological perspective that gets people interested in buying Tai's products. First off, let's start with the production quality. Tai is shooting with his iPhone, arm outstretched in his garage.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had to get installed to hold 2,000 new books that I bought.
Now this begs the question, if you have 7 new bookshelves and a Lamborghini, why not spend the money to hire a camera crew? Why shoot from a handheld device? I believe that this decision was very purposeful because in production, you have 2 extremes, homemade and professional, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. We tend to think of professional as better because it communicates authority and credibility, but the homemade production has the advantage of creating a feeling of spontaneity, authenticity, and trust. And if you're old enough, think back to the Blair Witch Project and how some people assumed that it was real due to the lower production quality. So remember, low production tends to feel more authentic, while high production tends to feel more authoritative, which leaves a big problem if you decide to go low production quality. There isn't a lot of authority being communicated with the production decisions in this ad. So watch what Tai does next.
Bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. 7 new bookshelves that I had to get installed to hold 2,000 new books that I bought. Now, maybe you've seen my TEDx talk where I talk about how I read a book a day.
Tai immediately gives us several pieces of authority. He mentions the Hollywood Hills. We see the 7 bookshelves and the 2,000 books, the TEDx conference, and of course, the Lamborghini. Now, of these things, 2 of them, the 7 bookshelves and the Lamborghini, are supported by visual evidence, which is why Tai is very careful to pan back and forth between them throughout the duration of the video. So right off the bat, between the homemade production style and all of these indicators of authority and credibility, Tai will have triggered a sense of trust and authority in a sizable portion of his audience. But the emotional cocktail needs more ingredients if people are actually going to buy. After all, the feeling you might have when looking at a Lamborghini is, that's awesome, but I could never afford that. Which is why Tai's next point is intended to ground his success story in a relatable past. Just watch.
It wasn't that long ago that I was in a little town across the country sleeping on a couch in a mobile home with only $47 in my bank account.
So now the viewer's feeling both awed by what Tai has been able to achieve, but also like they might be able to achieve the same thing. After all, if someone with 47 bucks can do it, all you have to do is recreate his steps, no matter how poor you might be today. So at this point, the viewer's probably thinking, well, I wonder what I'd have to do to get there, which is exactly what Tai covers next. How he was able to move from $47 living on a couch to the Hollywood Hills.
I didn't have a college degree. I had no opportunities. But you know what? Something happened that changed my life. I bumped into a mentor and another mentor and a few more mentors. I found 5 mentors on this video, and it'll take you to my website where I share 3 things that they taught me. 3 things that you can implement today no matter where you are.
Tai talks about mentors who taught him 3 specific things, and this is what some marketers call the mechanism. It's the way that a customer gets from a place that they don't want to be to a place that you do. And it can be a simple mechanism like a car to drive you from point A to point B, or an information-based mechanism like Tai's tips to make you wealthy. The important part is that you do not ever introduce the mechanism until after you've established authority, trust, desire, and a sense that this mechanism is designed for the person viewing the ad. Tai creates all of those feelings in the first minute, which is why this ad is so effective. To be clear, if Tai had just showed up and said 5 mentors taught me 3 things about wealth and I want to share them with you, no one would care. Those initial motions that are created by the bookshelf and the Ferrari and the story are very necessary. Unfortunately, so many of us ignore those when we sell ourselves. In interviews, we say, I'm a fast learner, so if you hire me, I'll be able to come in and make a big impact really quickly. And we do that before we've established any credibility, trust, or desire in the interviewer. I'm going to keep this focused on the breakdown of Tai, but if this kind of self-marketing or sales stuff is interesting to you, I can do more in other videos. Just let me know in the comments. Moving along though, the next thing that Tai does, and he is excellent at anticipating where the viewer's mind is at, is extremely important because at this point, he speaks to your common objections.
Now, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. You know, like they say, if things sound too good to be true, they are too good to be true. Okay? People see videos like this and they say, oh, that's not real, that's for somebody else. Don't listen. Don't listen. Be an optimist.
In addition to mentioning your probable objections, Tai disqualifies people with traits that don't make them good candidates for his product, like these.
If you're a cynic, if you're a pessimist, you don't need to click here. Don't worry about it. I don't need to talk to everybody.
This disqualification piece deserves a special mention. It's a powerful tool, but it's often faked in marketing. For instance, an ad might say, warning, only buy this persuasion course if you're a good person because the techniques inside are too powerful to be in the wrong hands. And though statements like that can generate more sales, it's obvious to most people that it's just a barely hidden sales pitch designed to exclude no one. But if you use a real disqualifier in your product, it actually makes it much more appealing to the right customer. For instance, if you were to say, this product is only intended for real estate agents already making over $200,000 a year, or this product is for first-time entrepreneurs who need guidance through every step of the process, yes, you're going to disqualify a large number of people, but your ideal customer will feel a special pull towards your product. And it works the same exact way when selling yourself in a job interview. For instance, you might say, I'm looking for a role where I can be a pure copywriter because I'm not very skilled in Photoshop or other design elements. What do most of us do though? We say, I'm a fast learner and I can do anything. We're so reluctant to disqualify any potential employers that we wind up not really appealing to any of them. Learning who you are not a match for in life is a hugely valuable skill. This is true of selling, interviewing, and especially dating. It sounds counterintuitive, but when you get good at communicating who you are not a match for, you're going to become that much more appealing to those people who you are a great match for. Digression over, let's hit on the final point here, the call to action.
I'll see you on my website. It's a quick video, and you'll see there, absolutely free. So just click this video. Let me share with you these 3 tips that have made all the difference in my life. They're practical. You can do them today. You can start on them today. All right? See you there on my site.
Tai repeats the call to action multiple times, giving a different reason each time. It's free, you can do it today, it's quick. All of these reasons are to convey one point. You have more to lose by not clicking than you do by clicking. The important thing here is that your closing action needs to match the amount of experience your prospect has of you. After 3 minutes, Tai can't say, join my $67 a month community. The ad would be a total dud. He waits until after you've watched the following 55-minute video to begin to sell. And I do the same thing with Charisma on Command, asking first for your email at the end of these videos so that I can send you more of the articles I've written and the videos that we've done before offering the paid video product, Charisma University. Now, if you're not in sales, this still applies to you. You shouldn't ask for big commitments from people with a limited experience of you. It's the reason that so many first dinner date plans fall through. When you've met someone for just a few minutes and exchanged numbers, a 1.5-hour dinner can seem like a huge commitment. That's why a 20-minute lunch date during the work week is often a better first ask when you're talking about a first encounter. The overall point is this. You are involved in marketing no matter what your job description. Not just in the products that you might sell, but in job interviews, dates, conversations that could turn into friendships. And if you understand the fundamentals of marketing, you're going to get more job offers, more dates, and more friends. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to do anything unethical. When learning from any marketer, I highly recommend that you take what you think is moral and discard what you don't. That way, you'll constantly be communicating more effectively while never compromising your morals. Now, I know that I mentioned the email ask that we do, so here it is. Listen up. we have a video that discusses the 4 emotions that guarantee an amazing first impression, whereas this video on Tai talks about the emotions that create an interested buyer. The following video talks about emotions that create a great first impression. And they're similar, but there are important differences. So if you're interested, click the button, drop your email, and check out that video if you want to make consistently amazing first impressions, or if you're just curious how we market our products. If you found this video interesting or helpful, definitely subscribe to the channel. Everything that I create is intended to help you be the most charismatic and confident self that you can be. So if you want to make sure that you see all of our content, the best way to do that is to click subscribe and, of course, the little notification bell. I've got some personal reflections that I think are very helpful coming up in the next video, so keep your eye peeled for that one as well. I'm very excited for it. Any comments or topic suggestions, please write them down in the comments. I'm also curious if you found this marketing angle helpful or if there's a different angle that you'd like me to look at, so let me know. Of course, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.